Okay, students, we are moving on. Now you're in middle school, but we're preparing you for Algebra 1. Anyway, we've done equations, lots of it. Now let's consider something called inequalities. Inequalities. Okay, just from the name, you know what does that mean? It means unequal, not equal, right? So here are the symbols right now. If we write this sign here, you've seen over and over, that means it's equal to. And there is this sign, right? Greater than, greater than, okay? And then we can also have greater than or equal to. So on the number line, okay, I can say this is the point two. All numbers this this direction, all numbers here are any number x is greater than 2. Okay, and you see this circle here? There's an empty circle. But I can also say all numbers x greater than or equal to 2. In this case, I'm just going to blot it. Okay. So there's no hole. It's not empty. I fill it up. Greater than or equal to. Okay. That's what the symbol means. And then we can also have the same way less than and then less than or equal to. Got it? Okay. So now what's the difference between equations and inequalities other than the symbol? All right, let's try and solve some right here. If I have, you can solve this. We've done this over and over. Number one, if I have 3x minus 5 equals 10, what is x? It's pretty simple, right? I add 5 to both sides. I say 3x equals 15, which say x equals 5, right? Then, okay, I can also say this an inequality, and it says 3x minus 5 is less than 10. The same way, I add 5 to both sides, right? And I end up with 3x is less than 15. I divide both sides by 5 and I say x is less than 5. The same thing, if it was less than or equal to, then my answer, I will just write x less than or equal to 5. If it was greater than, still stay the same, x greater than 5. If it was greater than or equal to, my answer is still greater than or equal to 5. Nothing really changes, no big deal. But let's get to this one here. What about negative 3x minus 5 equals 10 versus negative 3x minus 5 is less than 10? What's the difference? Okay, so here equation, same thing, plus 5, and I'll end up with negative 3x is equal to 15, and I divide both sides by negative 3, and I say x, and I say my answer is x equals negative 5, right? I'm done. Okay, but when it comes to inequalities, here's the difference. Here is the main difference and only difference is I add 5, like I'm solving an equation, and I have negative 3x is less than 15. Okay, now I need to find my x, and I divide both sides by negative 3, right? Negative 3. Okay, here's the difference. With inequalities, when I divide or multiply by a negative sign, right, then my sign changes. That is the only difference. That is it. So here, you're going to reverse the sign and it will become x, right? If you had to solve this, when you get to the end, you started with less than or equal to 10, you are going to end up with what? Okay, you are going to end up with, you add 5 plus 5, negative 3x. Negative 3x is less than or equal to 15. And then you divide both sides by negative 3, right? And then you are going to end up with x, reverse the sign, greater than or equal to negative 5. Got it? That's the only difference so far at your level. Okay, so what about here, number 5? Negative b plus 30 is less than 21. Let's solve that. So subtract 30 from both sides, right? You have negative b, that goes away. Negative b is less than, negative b is less than negative 9. Okay, I want b, so I have to say this is negative 1b. I have to divide both sides by negative 1 or multiply by negative 1. Okay, and then, okay, so the moment I solve my variable by either multiplying or divide by a negative number, the inequality reverses. So it's become positive b is what? Greater than or equal to positive 9. Okay, here, if you can solve negative 2, negative 2x plus 6 is equal to 9. If you can solve this, then you can solve this. Just pay attention to the inequality sign. All right, let's go down here. Okay, so here, to solve this, right, what are the rules? You group your like terms. So I'm going to say 1/4 x minus 1/3 x is greater than what? 3 over 2, right? First step. Okay, this is fractions. How do I solve this? Okay, by making them have the same denominator, with the LCM of 4 and 3 is 12. So this one here becomes 3 over 12 minus 4 over 12, that's x, is greater than 3 over 2. So 3x minus 4x becomes negative 1 over 12. Okay, negative 1 over 12x is greater than 3 over 2, right? So if you have negative 1 over 12x, this is the same, written as the same as negative x over 12, right? If you have this, negative x over 12 is equal to, sorry, 3 over 2. This is 2. Is equal to 3 over 2. How do you solve it? What do? You cross multiply, right? But you say, and so you can cross multiply. The negative is either top or bottom. Doesn't matter. So I can say negative 2x is greater than what? 36, right? And then I have to get rid of what? I have to get rid of my negative 2, right? By dividing both sides by what? Negative 2, 2. And my x then will become less than what? 18. So whenever you divide or multiply by a negative number, right? If I had done x over negative 12 equals 3 over 2, and I've done this, since I'm multiplying this, right? This negative number to that side, I still have to reverse the sign, right? So you say 2x is equal to, now reverse it, 2x then becomes less than 36, x less than 18. Okay, that's the difference. So try this. Okay, what about here? 5 over 12, x is greater than or equal to negative 4. How do you solve this? Okay, 5 over 12x, if this is equal to negative 4 over 1. What do? You cross multiply. But watch, this time the negative sign is not attached to my variable. So the inequality does not change, right? The inequality does not change. It only changes if the negative sign is attached to my variable. So here it still becomes what? 5x, 5x, 5x is greater than or equal to negative 48. And then x is greater than or equal to negative 48 over 5, which is what? Negative 9.6, something like that. So the difference between number 10 and number 9 is that here the negative sign was attached to my variable. So the sign of the inequality changes. Over here, number 10, my negative sign was not attached. It was attached to the other side. So I should not change, I should not reverse the sign of my inequality. So we're done. So pretty much, right? If I can solve this here, this equation, right, then I should also be able to solve this inequality. Okay, so when you solve this here, did you get, okay, pause the video, try and solve this, pause the video, the equation, okay? This is what you should get. Again, pause the video, solve this. Did you get this answer? Good. Right? So here, this is equation. If it had been inequality, what would it have been? Okay, check it out. Okay, more exercise to come. Keep on practicing. Log in IXL and do these exercises right here on the very top. IXL, Algebra 1, K8, and K10. Keep on practicing and all things being equal. What do I keep telling you? You shall bloom. Welcome to Bloom Leadership Academy. Have a good day. Bye bye.